Welcome back to A Closer Look. I'm your host, Dwayne Nelson, and with me, Lydia Blackwell. She is with Contact 211, and we are glad to have you here today. We've been talking about a lot of things, and when you talk about Contact 211, if people have problems, you're kind of there to guide the ship in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people that we're kind of the stepping stone to get people from where they're at to where they need to be. That's kind of how I like to phrase it, because that's kind of what we are. We're just a helping hand to get them over that bridge, over that hump in life that is unexpectedly popped up, and to where they need to be without tue much hassle and stress.
Let's say that someone comes to you and says, you know, I can't pay my light bill, or I'm having problems. I've had an abundance of hospital bills.
Oh yeah.
What can I do to get this taken care of? Is there help out there? Then what do you do at that point?
So usually people call and they'll say, Good Samaritan or Salvation Army gave me this number and said that you guys can help pay a light bill or something like that. And I just explained to them that we have plenty of resources that we can give them that can help get that taken care of. I try to ask people where they've called initially, just so that I know I'm not repeating resources to them. I know that can be quite annoying. And so I get all the places they've called already, and then I give them the remaining things that I have in our database that they can still check with. Churches sometimes people don't know about that help pay utilities and things of that nature. And so I ask what county they're calling from so that I can give them county specific resources. And then I give them whatever resources that are designated for that county to help with that specific need, which we cover pretty much anything you could think of.
And it really gives people a way to get help that they, like you said, you don't have to go through that runaround 15 different places to try to get something done.
Yeah, and we try to kind of talk to them to see if there's anything else that they may need while they're on the phone with us, so they're not having to make 3 or 4 phone calls to us. Say somebody needs help with a light bill, but they also are having issues with getting help with child care or getting help with counseling services, getting set up in that way. We try to kill multiple birds with one stone, so to speak, and kind of make sure that everybody has the resources that they need that are going to set them up for success.
What is Reassurance Calls?
Okay, so our reassurance program, we primarily have elderly individuals on there that may forget to take their medications. At one point in time, we had an elderly gentleman that we just needed to call to remind him to lock his doors at night. He had early onset dementia and was having issues just remembering to lock his doors and whether he did it or not. And so very simple things, but they mean a lot to the people in the community. Medication reminders, we can call and make sure that somebody's taken their medication that morning at the time that they were supposed to take it, because sometimes it's easy to forget that, especially if it's new medications and things like that. And our protocol is, if you want us to, whenever you sign up for our reassurance program, you have the option to where if you don't answer, we have a list of your emergency contacts, and we can call them and say, hey, we didn't get a hold of Bob today. Can you check on them and see if they're okay? Usually one of their contacts has a key so they can get in and make sure that they're doing okay. If we can't reach their emergency contacts, we call 911 and have them go out there and do a wellness check. And so they'll go out there and check on them, knock on their door, make sure they're doing okay, if that's something they desire, but it's absolutely not required.
And that's great peace of mind for someone who may have a parent that lives here and they live somewhere else in another state. Then that gives them some kind of a little bit of reassurance that
So
they've
to
got
speak.
somebody to check on mom or dad.
Yeah.
Fundraising, a big part of your operation, because without funds you don't operate.
Yes.
So we were talking earlier, funding and volunteer is 2 necessities that it takes to keep Contact 211 going and operating. What are some of the fundraising? I know you had a fundraising event just recently, but you have several that go out throughout the year, right?
Oh yeah, we try to do one kind of for each season to sort of cater to what people are going to be interested in doing. And this past December we had a magic show, and it was mainly geared towards kids, because a lot of times people don't see the kid part of what we do, but all of the adults who are calling typically have kids that are being affected by this too. So we tried to throw something that was going to be a little bit on the cheaper side, because it was around the holidays, that people could get out and do with their kids. And it was great. We had face painting and popcorn and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. And then we also usually have an annual hoedown where everybody can kind of dress in Western style. And that's always a lot of fun. We're going to have that coming up in November. People can purchase tickets on the website whenever it gets closer to that time period. And so we always have that, which is just a super, super fun thing to do. We'll probably have face painting and things like that at that as well. We always have a big dinner, and so it's a lot of fun. We try to do things like that. And then United Way is also a huge part of what we do. All of the counties that we serve have an individual United Way sector that is our partner, so we're partner agencies with them as well.
And I'm sure that helps because, like you say, funding is it's a tough thing,
It is.
you know, and keeping after it, of course, you have to. I know y'all just got through doing your Johnson City Cardinals fundraiser,
Yeah.
so that was, I'm sure, a success as well. But if churches and organizations want to get involved, right now is the time to do that.
Yes, yes. Right now summer, everybody's kind of going everywhere, and it's one of those things you don't really think about, giving at this certain time period. A lot of people give more towards the winter, but anytime is good with us. We can always use the help.
So people that really are finding themselves in a tough spot, this program is going to give them what they need to get over that hump, and at least get them in the right direction.
Yes, yes. And another thing that we provide is when we're doing information referral calls, we do offer to pre-screen people for food stamps. We have a partnership with the SNAP program. And so if they want to be pre-screened, which takes about 2 minutes as opposed to going down to the office and waiting, 2-3 hours to find out if you're even approved, we can kind of give you a guiding way to see if maybe it's worth your time, maybe it's not worth your time.
Right. And you say this program has been around since the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Are you finding that the number of people that you serve, the need is getting greater and greater?
I find that the need is we're getting more requests and stuff more online than we are phone calls. And I think a lot of it is just because most people don't use their phones anymore, or at least not their landlines. And so it's easier to go on Google and maybe do a quick search, which we're accessible that way too. You're going to get more direct information and probably more accurate information if you do call in, and we can search manually for you. That way it's catered to the county.
Right.
But we are seeing a lot of our web searches go up.
I'm sure you have lots of stories that you can tell, and I would just like for you to share maybe a story or two where Contact 211 has helped some family or someone out.
Yeah, okay, so especially with our reassurance program, we have done wellness checks before in the past. One I can think of in particular, we couldn't reach the lady, and I just had a feeling about it, and so we did end up sending a wellness check out there a little quicker than we normally would have, and it turned out she had had a stroke. And was laying on the ground. And whenever you live by yourself, it's a huge concern, especially if you don't have Life Alert or something like that, that who's going to find me? I could fall and nobody would find me. I hear that a lot from people. And it's a source of anxiety for a lot of people. And so just a simple phone call is just relieving a huge amount of anxiety. Another one that I can think of right off the top of my head was a guy that had early onset dementia, and his wife did as well. And they both couldn't remember to take their medications on time, naturally. And so we would call every day at 8 o'clock, and we would talk to both of them. And we would, we would talk to him first, say, hey, did you take your medicine? Yeah, I took it. Okay. And then we would talk to her for a little bit and see how she was doing that day. But they're just the sweetest people on our list. And honestly, it's great for the volunteers as well as our clients, because for our volunteers, they get a friendly voice and a friendly conversation, which is always nice. So.
Right. And then the fact of, I'm sure that these people come to depend on that phone call.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure your volunteers are finding themselves getting attached to these people because they talk to them all the time.
Yeah, and it can be hard, especially if people pass away, which does happen. And I try to warn our volunteers ahead of time that hey, you may be on the same shift every week and you're going to get attached to these people, and sometimes they just pass away because it's the nature of what we do. A lot of them are even in their 90s,
Oh,
for
wow.
example. So we've got people born in like 1919, 1920, and you can get some really great stories when you talk to them, and it's just a joy. It is.
Talk again. Is there anything else that you have that you want to maybe add that I haven't tried to hit on?
Not particularly. The only thing that I can stress is that we always need volunteers. I can work with anybody's schedule. I really can, and I will to make it work. I usually let people pick how long they want to be on. The minimum is 2 hours, just because then it gets a little more complicated if you do less than that.
Right.
And I typically require just 1 day a week for 2 hours. If you have 2 hours to spare a week, even if you're at home, even if you have a lot going on, maybe you really need to get that laundry done,
Right.
but you also really want to help people out, you can do that with this program. So it's an awesome program, and I was also going to give you another number that they can call to reach our
Okay.
crisis line directly.
That'd be fine.
I gave you the direct line. They can reach the business, but I'll give you the crisis line as well, which is 926-0144.
All right, and then if you all need any way to get in contact with them, they can use those numbers as well. Tell me the number one more time. Tell the
It's
folks.
going to be 423-246-2273 is going to get our main office. And then if you want the crisis line, it's going to be 423-926-0144.
All right.
And they can also email me if they're interested in volunteering and want an application at lblackwell@contact211jc.org.
All right. Well, we appreciate Lydia Blackwell with us from Contact 211.